Hi Year 4. This week in our maths lessons we are going to be learning about angles. We've touched on this a little bit, but we will be going into more depth. So an angle is basically the measure of a turn, and it's formed when two lines meet at a point. There are four different types of angles. So there's an acute angle, a right angle, obtuse angles and reflex angles. Let's have a little look at what that means. So this one here is a right angle. It's formed when our two lines meet at this point. It's a quarter of a turn, and a right angle is exactly 90 degrees. The symbol for a degrees sign is this little circle here. So it's a quarter of a turn. The great thing that you can use for measuring right angles, you can get the corner of your page, you can just put it there like that, and you can check whether it is a right angle or not. This is a straight line, and it's basically worth two right angles, so you've got 180 degrees turn there. So a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. The next sort of angle that we're going to look at is an acute angle. Acute angles. These are small. These are less than 90 degrees. If I get my piece of paper, that makes a right angle. This is much smaller than a right angle, so it's an acute angle. Then we've got obtuse. This one is greater than 90 degrees. If I use my piece of paper here, the turn is much bigger than 90 degrees. So obtuse angles are greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. And then finally, we've got our reflex angle. I think of this as flexing his big muscles. He's greater than 180 degrees. So that's the measure of the angle there. It's much bigger than a right angle. It's much bigger than a straight line angle. It's a reflex angle. In English, we are carrying on with our adventure stories, and this week you are going to be doing a lot of planning. So you will be planning a setting for your story. So you could have a nighttime setting, you could set your story on an abandoned boat on the River Thames or deep in the woods. So I'd like you to have a think about a good setting for your adventure story. The other thing that you'll be doing in the adventure story is planning some speech or some dialogue for your characters. Now, if we have a look here at this comic, I know who's speaking because it uses speech bubbles. So Minnie's mum says to her, "Minnie, have you done your homework yet?" And we've got Minnie's speech bubble, which shows that Minnie says, "I'll get on it later. Friday's ages away." So if we were to put this into dialogue for a story, for example, we would have to follow some rules. So let's have a look at some of the rules for when you're setting out speech. "Minnie," Mum shrieked as she peered around the door. So the first words that Mum says are Minnie. These ones, we use inverted commas to show the words that Mum's speaking. The punctuation is inside the inverted commas, not on the outside, inside the inverted commas. Mum shrieked. So I've used a good speech verb there. I've not used said, I've used shrieked to emphasise how angry Mum is. As she peered around the door. And then Mum carries on speaking. She says, "Have you done your homework yet?" So I've used inverted commas again to show the words that Mum is saying. I've also put my question mark inside the inverted commas. The next thing you'll notice is I've started a new line for Minnie's reply. Every time you have a new speaker, you must start a new paragraph or a new line. So Minnie says, "I'll do it later. Friday is ages away." So I've started Minnie's speech with inverted commas and I've closed Minnie's speech with inverted commas. I've also put my punctuation mark, which is a comma, inside the inverted commas, and I've used a speech verb to show, a speech verb and an adverb to show what she said. So this time Minnie mumbled distractedly. Distractedly shows the manner in which Minnie is speaking. So I would like you to plan some speech for your mystery story this week. Thank you for sending all your emails in. If there's anything that's bothering you about this week's task, then please get in touch. I'm really pleased with how hard you've been working, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you've been doing this week. Thank you. Bye.